Welcome to the 2.0 Grandma Podcast, a space created by a grandma for grandmas and all about grandmas. Our mission is clear: to empower and support grandmas as they redefine, realign, and redesign their lives.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Doing great. Excited.
Good, good. So, Miss Shirley Breedlove, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Doing wonderful.
Good,
How are
good.
you?
I'm doing fantastic. I am, even though it's raining outside here in Newport News, Virginia, I am still good.
Oh, you're in Newport News today. Well, I'm in
Yeah.
Virginia Beach, so we're in the same ring.
Yes. So that's where I met you was in I don't know if that was I think that was Hampton.
Yes, I was in
At your
Hampton.
love feast, right?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Let's get started. My name is Dr. Marsha McLean, and I am the host of the 2.0 Grandma podcast.
Okay.
And I created this podcast because I want the world to know all about what grandmas are doing these days. And I call 2.0 because guess what? We are not your grandma's grandma. Okay? We are
Uh,
different. We are outside. Okay. We doing the doggone thing. So, and I want
yes.
the world to know what's happening out here because a lot of people count us out as grandmas. Oh, the grandma, go home, sit down, be, no. Your
Mhm.
time is up. No. For some of us, we're just getting started,
Really?
you know? And so I say the 2.0 because 2.0, when we got all the different phones and different technology, we had the 1.0 version, we got the 2.0, then we got the 3.0. Each version was more advanced than the other,
Right.
right? So
Right.
that's why I call it 2.0 version. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you guys Miss Shirley Breedlove, and her name speaks volumes. When I was trying to figure out the title for this episode, I called it Shirley Breeds Love.
Okay.
And that's what I thought about you when I met you that day. Oh, and I just happened to be at the event. I didn't even know what it was about. I went there to see the models. And
Okay.
boy, was I blessed.
Oh,
I
wonderful.
tell you, yeah, that's why I was there because one of the models invited me and said you should come and see us model. And what I loved about them is that they were, I think all of them or most of them were grandmas or they're all women in their 60s. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
But then when I saw you and heard what you were saying, I'm like, double wow. Wow. I said,
Oh,
I think I found my people.
okay.
Yeah. So I want you first to just tell us who Miss Shirley Breedlove is. And then I want to talk about this. I have a little segment I call Grand Brag, where you can brag about your grandkids, talk about your grandkids, let us know who they are and what they're doing and those kinds of things. And how you felt becoming a grandma and a great grandma and a great great grandma.
Yeah,
You got lots to tell, Miss Shirley.
I need a book.
So I'm gonna be quiet and let you tell us all about who you are.
Well, my name is Shirley Breedlove, and I think that I live one of the most exciting lives that most people live. Because first of all, I had 7 children,
Mm,
and then I adopted 2 young men later.
mm,
My oldest daughter died with breast cancer. My youngest son was murdered.
mm.
Uh, and so I still have 7 children. Of those 7 children, I have 29 grandchildren.
Wow.
I have 33 great grandchildren, and I have
Whoa.
3 great great grandchildren.
Wow.
Actually, this month I celebrated my 87th birthday this month. And so I am about, people tell me that I'm doing all these things. Um, but one of the things that I'll say about myself,
Oh my God.
the name of my organization now is Dare to Dream, but I was dreaming many, many years ago. You know, I started out, I think, I got married young, had these children, but I always wanted to go to school and get it and get, didn't even have a high school diploma. And I said it's because God has really been good to me. I was able to go back to school and went back just to get a high school diploma. And I said, oh, if I can just get it, I'm going to be so happy. But when I got there, I met a professor that said to me, Shirley, my goodness, you finished that uh, so quick. You'll have to go to college. Well, I was like, okay. I don't know how that works and all of that. My brother had finished.
Uh-huh.
And so my baby at that time, I think Jonathan was just born. He was maybe 2 or 3 months old. So my sister kept him while I went to school. And she said she thought I was just going because I wanted to get away from the kids. But you know, I really am grateful because I had a lot of support, and to this day, I'm eternally grateful to the people that have been in my life down through the years. You know, I had a church family, I had a community family, I had my husband and my children. We worked together as a team while
Wow.
I went to school. First of all, to get my GED, then went on to get my master's, and I just went one right behind the other.
Mm.
It was good. It was challenging, but I tell you, I tell people one of the greatest things that you can ever do in life is to work together with your family and friends.
Mm.
We all need a community, and all those
Yes.
loners that want to do it by themselves, it's going to be very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So after I left school, I lived in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at
Mm-hmm.
that time. I went to Temple University, and I moved back here to Virginia in '84. And in my whole mission in life has really been to reach out and help others. Anything that I have done, you know, it's always been, uh, how's this going to benefit somebody else? Well,
Mm-hmm.
how's this going to be a blessing to the community?
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people that when I was 30 years old, that was one of the things that I heard God so specifically said to me was that his love reaches out to others.
Mm.
And that has been sort of like my focus, uh, not to the people who have already obtained, and that's good too, but
Mm-hmm.
really to the people who really need to know that somebody cares, somebody loves.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into mental health. I had a sister who was mentally challenged, and I just fell in love with mental health.
Mm.
I worked in mental health for over 40 years in mental health. I've done everything you can imagine in mental health, from directed programs, from writing programs, from being a therapist to being a counselor to being an in-home. There is nothing in mental health that I did not do. But one of the great things about it, it was a part of my whole focus in life, and that is to help other people. I used to work with the clients, you know, and some of them were really seriously mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
But I really believed that they could do more than they thought they could do. So
Mm.
they met you anyway. They would say, Miss Shirley is always trying to get us to do something other than, I mean, people would come to my office and tell me they had never completed anything. One girl told me, she said, I've never completed anything. This young lady was able to go on and went in the military, was able to finish a whole lot of things.
Oh,
One
wow.
of the young ladies who I worked with for years now is working on her doctorate. So,
Ooh.
you know, potential a lot of times comes from us supporting, encouraging other people.
Yes.
We let them, you can do this. Come on, we can get this
Yes.
done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and then I worked with children. My final job was working in intensive at home with children and families. And I'm really a family oriented person because I believe that families really are our foundation. And when we don't have that kind of communication in our families, it affects everything else that you do.
Mm.
So
Mm.
when I would go, you know, working with these families, giving them a sense of hope, because so many times I think that uh, people, and I'm a Christian and I'm in a very good church, but all Christians don't understand how the world lives outside of the church.
Mm. Mm.
And that was one of my callings when I worked at Eastern State Hospital, was not just to do the liaison work, getting the people discharged, But my role, and that's something God gave me, wasn't the job that God gave, wasn't the job that the job gave me, but my description to that job added on to it. Every child, every person that left Eastern State Hospital that I was the liaison for, I went to their home. I went with that family. I spent time with them to help them to understand mental illness. That is something that is really, even to today, people do not understand mental illness. So that's where I've been. Uh, well, and then on after that, I had taken care of my sister for 19 years, and she passed in 2016. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really felt like I was, what am I going to do? I still had the mental health to do. And that's when I went back to school and got the life and health coaching. And so after that, a couple of years ago, I have a friend, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll do Healing the Soul, see what that's about. I had no idea what it was about. It is one of the most powerful ministries because so many people, you know, they are doing this and but they have old wounds that have never been healed.
Never been healed, yeah.
And they are working out of a wounded soul. And so I became a minister of Healing of the Soul ministry. So that's just, I need a book.
Yes, Shirley. Oh my God.
Well, and now I'm
86.
Huh?
There's no way you're 86 and you're doing all that.
I'm 87. I just turned 87 May 9th.
No way. No way.
Now I'm a health coach and a life coach. That's what I
No
do.
way you 87. I'm not believing that. You need to show me. You need to prove.
And so I'm still in school. I have a coach that's working with me. I mean, I just tell people, so a whole lot of dreams are going to be in the ground because people stop trying.
Yes.
And if you stop trying, then you can't reach your goal.
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. And that's another reason why I am really big on this whole grandma movement, right?
Yes.
Because as women, sometimes we put everybody else in front of us. And we make sure we support our husbands on their jobs. We make sure we support our children as they go through school. We make sure we support our grandchildren. But we don't necessarily focus on us, and we let ourselves kind of go to the wayside. And then somebody asks you, well, what did you want to be when you grew up? Well, I wanted to be this. I want to be an astronaut. I want to be. Well, did you ever try to be it? Well, no, because I had kids and that. But you're a living example that you can do anything you want to do while you have your kids, right? You can still go to school and do all those things. I love, 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 love your story. And it is so inspirational. And I believe inspirational to so many. When I heard you speak, I was like, wow. And to me, that was my gift for being there that day. And so that's what I was so adamant. I'm like, okay, I got to find out who this lady is. I got to talk to this lady because other people need to hear. Grandmas need to hear this. Some of them give up so easily and say, well, there's nothing I can do right now. Because I met this lady, I was renting a car to go somewhere. And she said, and I gave her my name and I gave her my card and everything, right, with all my information. And she said, oh, what do you do with grandmas? And then I told her, she said, you need to talk to my mom. My mom has given up. She got sick. And then all she wants to do is sit around the house. And she's so unhappy. And I'm like, oh, no. I said, please get her. I said, please give her my number. But, she doesn't know me. So you're going to try to sell her to even call me. But there's so many women that are like, and I know there's men that way too, but my focus, of course, is on grandmas. And so that's why when I find someone like yourself, I want to share your story with other people. You give people hope.
Yes.
Or an inspiration, of all the things that you've done, the things that you're still doing, even. Right. So now I want to hear all about your grandkids. I call this little segment grand brag session. So let's hear about those grandkids and great grandkids and great great grandkids.
Well, my grandchildren and great grandchildren, I mean, I just love them. And all of them are different ages. I just had a new great great grandbaby that was born. But my grandkids, I've never been a grandmama. I always was a working grandmama, okay? But grandma was going to work. So I only take grandchildren when I want to take grandchildren.
Right.
And the
That's
first,
that 2.0 version. Yeah, that's the
that,
2.0
that
grandma.
first group of grandchildren I had, they lived with me, slept with me, and all of that. Well, then as it went on and went on, now you can come and visit, and then you can go back, and that to me uh, is what I have been able to do now. I agree, and my heart, I love to meet with people who are raising their grandchildren. I met a lady one day uh, who was raising her great grandchildren, and they were like 4 and 5 years old. And
Ooh,
I told her, I was like, I just am so proud of you.
yes.
That's a challenge.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's indeed a challenge. So my grandchildren, my oldest grandchildren, they live in Philadelphia. One of my granddaughter, she works for the American Cancer Research in Philadelphia. Her son plays basketball all over the world. Uh,
Mm.
my great grandson, he's one of my great grandsons. And then I just told you recently, I went to Philadelphia, went to New Hampshire, and one of my granddaughters, this young lady, you talking about resilience. This young lady got her doctor's in physical therapy
Mm.
after having a serious accident, which broke her femur while she was at school,
Ooh.
came home enough to recover enough to get on some crutches and go back to New Hampshire.
Mm.
And she was the only Black student in that class. The
Wow.
only one. So, and then my other granddaughter, we have a granddaughter that's down in Atlanta. She's a cosmetologist down there. And what she does, we went down last year, they opened up a salon of sweets down there.
Ooh.
So the grandkids are doing a whole lot of things. All of them are doing really well. They're doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
I try to pour into them as a consultant, like me and my daughter said, we're not raising them. They already, they're grown.
Yes.
And I don't nag my grandchildren. I think one of the things that grandmamas have to feel like they always got to preach or they got to always correct. But I find out it's so much better if I align myself with my grandchildren, listen to what they're talking about,
Yes.
and be able to share some things with them, but I don't judge them. And my daughter said something to me on Mother's Day that I had never even thought about. She said, Mom, you know what? No matter what we are doing or what the kids are doing, I have never heard you speak negative to one of those, to anyone.
Mm.
I never even thought about that. But
Mm.
I had the greatest mother in the world. I tell
Mm.
people, my mother she lived to get 92. But
Wow.
she was a fashion designer.
Mm.
When I was at the Love Feast and those ladies, I said my mama would be right out there with her fashion. She made them and she wore them
And
and
it's
wore gracefully. Yeah.
yes. Mm.
So the grandbabies, they come and they visit, they spend some time and then they go back home to their mamas and daddies. But
Mm-hmm.
I love them all because, I tell them one of the greatest things that you can give to your children is you. Even though I was in school and doing a lot of things, I spent an awful lot of time with my kids. And you
Mm-hmm.
can do it, but you do have to be real structured about doing it.
Yes, you do.
You
Yes, you
have to
do.
be very structured about it. But
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
deliberately and intentionally set aside time for our kids and to spend time with them, take them places. My kids, and I tell people, we lived in Philadelphia where we didn't have public buses to pick our kids up at the door. Our
Mm.
kids had to catch public transportation to.
Right. Yeah.
My children learned to go all over Philadelphia on public transportation, and they went by themselves. We taught
Mm.
them how to do that. I don't know what you do now because life has changed so
Yeah,
much.
things are a little bit crazier now. Yeah.
Yeah, but they still have to catch public transportation.
Yes, sure, you sure do. A lot of cities children have to do that. I'm like, "Ooh,
Right.
I don't want my grandchildren raised in that kind of I'm just being honest with you. But you're right. If you teach them how to do it and teach them how to take care of themselves, be aware of what's
Right.
around them, all that, they
Mm-hmm.
could possibly still do it. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
and one of the things that I know with my kids, back during that time when they were in school, two of my kids, when they got out of school, they lived near the library.
Mm-hmm.
Their school was near, so they would go to the library to wait for me to come home from school.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that now. But one of the things that happened to it is my daughter was an avid reader, and she read all the time. That was her hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Well, her brother was running up and down the steps one day instead of being in the library. And he was like, let me go in here and see what she's doing. She's there all the time reading. Those two kids of mine, you'll never see them without a book. To this day, they both are in their 50s. But books became something that they fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
reading is so important to our children.
Yes, it is.
Even
Yeah.
getting to kindergarten, all of them need to be able to read.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right about that. And there's so many children who don't know how to read. You know, I mean, we look at some of our athletes. There was, what was the guy name? I can't remember. He played for the Washington.
Moses Malone was one of them.
Yeah, and then the guy that played for the Redskins, the football guy. I can't think of his name now. But anyway, they said he couldn't read. I'm like, what? How do
Yeah.
you get through school and not be able to read? You know, that's the parents and teachers issue there. That's both fault, because if you can't read, your parents should know whether or not you can read, because you should be reading to them at some point in your life, right?
Yeah.
You read to them and then they read to you. That's how that works, right?
Right.
And so you should know if your child cannot read, and then the teacher should definitely know who in her class, who in his or her class that can read and cannot read, and get the support that they need. So it's just, I'm like, wow, how did that happen? But yeah, there's a lot of children and they don't get an opportunity. They don't see their parents reading, and parents sometimes don't realize how much it is that they need to be a role model and demonstrate these things for children, so
Right.
that they see that it's
Right.
not all about the phone. It's not all about the device. You know, it's
Right.
about picking up a book and reading
Yes.
a book. Now, yes, you can read a book on a device. You sure can, but there's nothing wrong and nothing better in my mind than taking a hard book. I am a professor, a college professor, and when I get ready to do my classes, I pick out books that are related to whatever my content is. I look at those books to get my content, and I know this stuff because I've been doing it for a long time. But I want to get new stuff. Then I go on the internet to find the most current information.
Right.
Reading is so important, and knowing how to find stuff. And that's what I teach my students in class. Even though they're college students, some of them still don't know how to do those things that they should know how to do by the time they get to college, you know? And so I have to sometimes take them all the way back, you know, how to research stuff on the internet, good quality scholarly stuff, not just junk, right? Right.
Right. I remember when my kids was coming up, we had library day. All went to the library, and everybody could get 10 books. I don't care what kind you get, you got to come out there with the books. And if you get home, we had quiet time. That's when you read. When your quiet time.
Yep.
And so, you know, trying to teach that even to parents today, that children need that type of structure, it's very challenging, because, you know, a lot of parents don't want their children to have the discipline that they have, because they don't understand how the discipline helps a child to become who you want them to be.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. There's some sad situations.
Right.
My field is early childhood, so I teach teachers to work with young children and the children's parents. And so I remember one of my first jobs was to go into the home like a home visitor. So I would go into the home, I would demonstrate to parents how to read to the children. I would bring a toy, I would leave the toy for them to play with. And I said, just get down on the floor and play with your child. And then I remember one time, a parent left me in the house with the child and they went outside and was hanging out. I'm like, no, that's not what I'm doing. I'm here to teach both of you. I'm mainly here, I'm a parent educator, not necessarily a child educator in that way, but I'm here to demonstrate for you how to do things with your child. I couldn't believe it. I had to look around. I'm like, where did they go?
And that's because they always want someone else
Exactly.
responsibility. And they did that. I was an intensive in-home counselor, but when I went there, I told them, I'm only here temporary. What I'm here to do is teach you, not because I'm not going to be here, and you're going to have to be here later and learn how to do these things with the children.
Exactly. And yeah, and but some parents will try to push the envelope. And I learned
Yeah.
I was very young in my career. I learned that day to make sure that that was an understanding that they had from the very beginning when I walked in the house and introduced myself and said what I did. You have to be present. You
Right.
cannot leave the child. You don't know me, you know. Why would you do that to your child? Right? But anyway, but that's another story. But now
Right.
let's talk about this Love Fest. How did that all
Love.
come about?
Okay. Well, the Love Feast started in the 90s. I lost my aunt. She was the first one passed. And after I lost my aunt, the next year my husband and my sister passed. And then
Hmm.
the next year my son was killed. And
Hmm.
the next year my aunt, another aunt died. And then my mom passed. And I was like, and what amazed me was how people came from everywhere for the funerals. I
Hmm.
People came for the funerals, people we hadn't seen, and I don't know when they came for the funerals. And I mean, the Lord just brought it to my mind. Why can't we all get together when nothing is going on, but just have
Out of
some
funerals.
good time? So
Yes.
that's the Love Feast was born out of that. We started that Love Feast in our home, and at that time, everybody would bring a dish, and we would have everybody there in the house. And I'm telling you, it has really been 20 years of wonderful thing. We have included so many people in the community. One of the young ladies that assist me with the Love Feast, she was one of my coworkers. She came
Hmm.
to the second Love Feast, and she has been to everyone, has contributed, has worked like I don't know what at every Love Feast to make
Wow.
sure, because she believed in the vision of
Hmm.
not just reaching family members, but all of those people in the community that we could have at the Love Feast. So that's where the Love Feast started. And we've had all kinds of Love Feasts. We've had breast cancer. I think the greatest one was the year that we had when all of us came in team shirts. That was such a day.
Hmm.
We had the Cowboy fans and we had Eagle fans. I mean, it just went on. I left that place that day, was leaving my job. Couldn't even talk. We had that just such a wonderful time, just fellowship and just talking and just really being able to just enjoy one another. And that's really what the Love Feast has been these 20 years.
Oh, wow. And now next year you said something pretty profound at that one I attended this in 24 in February. You
Right.
said next year we're going to
Well, what we're going to do this year coming, this next year that comes up, we have projected that we are going to take the Love Feast from where it is and carry it out into the community. We're going to be able to bring in people, the homeless. We want to be able to bring in the homeless. We want to bring people with disabilities.
mm,
We want it to be a community affair, even more so than it has been. The other thing is, we had a I have an organization. It's called Dare to Dream. Dare to
mhm,
Dream is focused more on women who are in a trauma situation.
mhm,
But we used to in the 90s, we had a 501c3 where we took care of homeless and we took care of mentally ill men. I had a home for them. Well, two
mm.
or three homes
I
we had
read
during
that,
that.
yeah.
2 or 3 homes that we had for them. And so we're getting in the process even now of reactivating our 501c3 because the vision has been so that we need to expand ourselves. We need to get a building. Not only that, we need to be able to reach the homeless and the people that are mentally ill. We also need to do mentorship programs. I'm
Mm,
really concerned about our kids uh, not having that basic training that they need as children
mhm,
and going into teen. I think that's a block of time that with 7 and 8 year olds is really where, especially boys, have a real challenging time around there. So our mentorship program will start for boys and girls uh,
mhm,
at 8 years old. And I want them to, in my mind, I want them to not only. I was talking to a young man on Friday. learning about entrepreneurship, because our kids, my great grandkids, are not going to stay anywhere until they get on the job 20 years. More than likely, they're not going to get no ring, nor no watch.
No,
They
so
are
no ring or watch, right?
wanting them to be able to explore other things while they're young enough to do that.
And today's world is like that. Everything is so entrepreneur focused.
Yes.
You can do everything now on your own. You can publish your own books.
Right.
You can create your own TV show, your own podcast. I mean, there's just so much that you can do from your computer and with the use of the internet.
Right.
It's amazing.
It is. And so we want to take advantage of all of those things in order to be able to reach our community. As a parent and as a grandparent, I want to see my children go further than I've gone.
Yes.
I listened to, we're having a transition that's going on in our church where our pastor has trained the next pastor, and he's stepping out of pastorship, but he'll still be bishop. And I was listening to him today, and he was like, who's going to carry on your vision when you're gone? I called my daughter. I was like, I listened to what he said today. Who's going to carry on Street Corner and Dare to Dream? He said, Grandma, Mom, you better start looking at those younger kids. So what we have to do is start training them.
Yes, yes.
Training them to take on that responsibility of caring for others before you just care. It's not all about you. Out to other people. So that's where I am coming into this year. It's been very exciting. We're already working on the things for the Love Feast. Love Feast actually starts the day after the feast. Wherever we are, we start planning for the Love Feast the very next day.
Day after when?
The day after the Love Feast.
Oh, okay. You start planning for next year. Okay.
Yes. We don't wait until we waited this year because of the pandemic and so much was going on and not being able to find a place. So we ended up the place that we had it at. We've had it there for the last maybe 15 years.
Oh.
Yeah, we've had it there. So we're going to just move. We're moving out. So we're moving up and out.
Moving on up. Yeah.
So that we can reach more people and so that we can help more people and inspire more people. I just believe that we have a platform where we can inspire and encourage people to reach their fullest potential.
Yes.
So I'm always working on that. I mean, even today, you won't believe this. Today, I was sitting down and listening to something, and I tell you, every day I have a new vision.
I know that's right.
I'm going to do a workshop for seniors.
Oh,
yes, on living older gracefully.
Now, how are you going to do it? You're going to do it on Zoom? You're going to do it face to face?
I'm going to do that face to face here in this building. We have a building here of seniors. And so we're going to invite them, and we're going to invite people that we know, and we're going to serve lunch. It's going to be free. But live and have some seniors come in and talk about graceful living. Everybody don't want to sit in a chair and rock. I don't want to rock.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly right. Please think about me when you're doing these things.
I've already got the date down. So
what is that date?
October the 5th.
October the 5th.
And it's going to be from 12 to 4.
Okay, October 5th. Yes, I would love to partner with you from 12 to 4.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to partner with you on some things. I was also thinking about asking you to be a part of my next book where I interview women like yourself that are doing phenomenal things, as a grandma. I'm on my second edition of that. I'll be creating my third for 2024, and we will publish in 2025. Because what I want to do, the folks that I interview on my podcast, it's so interesting. And I know it's God. It's just God. I have to say that. Because the people that I've been connecting with, right, are all phenomenal women who just happen to be grandmas and are doing some fantastic things out here. And I think other grandmas out there in the world need to know about what we are doing.
Right. They do.
So
Thank you.
yes, I would love for you to be a part of that. And I'm working with Miss Willis. She and I have
Okay.
been talking. She was
Okay.
at the studio with me last week, and she brought some of the models. And so we're talking about doing something together as well,
Okay.
right? So yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, and other thing is I'm gonna be doing a podcast too. So I'm gonna have to get with you too about that.
Yes,
I'm gonna be
definitely.
doing a podcast. That was one of the things my grandkids gave me for Mother's Day was
Ah,
they gave me the podcast bundle.
ah.
My daughter said, "Mom, what am I gonna do?" I said, just pray.
Yeah. You know what, Miss Breedlove, I found that it was very easy. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while.
Right,
I worked with the Office of Head Start in DC, and we would put content online. And I kept
right,
saying, we need to do a podcast. We need to do a podcast. Well, they didn't ever want to do it. That was long before, that was probably 2012. And that was
right,
before podcasts became as popular as they are now. And
right,
so when I started doing this grandma work, I said, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to do a podcast. And
right.
again, God connected me with the right people that led me to someone who had a podcast studio.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna get with you.
Yes. And so, and then, and I started doing it, and she helped me, get myself organized and how to plan it out and all that. And I
Okay.
tell you, I'm enjoying it so much.
Right.
I do about 3 a week. I'm in my second season. I
Okay.
started February 23. So I'm in my
Okay.
second season. I have, what do I have? I don't do it every week. I have about 20. I think you're my number 28
Hmm.
for season 2.
Okay.
And my goal is to get 50 episodes for this season. And
Okay.
then next season, I'll do for season 3, I'll do the same thing. That's my goal. So I
Right.
am just enjoying myself. The first season I did, what did I do? I think I did 25 episodes. But I said
Okay.
this time I want to double it.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
doing some in studio and then some through Zoom. So
Right.
yeah. So
We have
you
so
will love
many
it.
things. Well,
Yes.
I'm sure I will. There's
Yeah.
so many ways that we need to reach people, even with all of
Yes.
that. There are still people that need to be reached. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Yeah. The,
And this is another way to do it, and I know all the things that you've done. Have you written your book yet, or are you writing?
have not written the book. I told my granddaughter, I said, I guess I'm gonna have to put the book on tape. And she said, well, Grandma, you put it on, I'll help you get it together. So,
Yeah,
um,
because you can do it in your computer. Say it and the computer will type it for you.
oh, really?
Get your granddaughter to help you with that. Yes.
Yeah, she's home now. And so she said, well, Grandma, I'm gonna be studying for my clinicals, but I need something to break it up. So I got a lot for her to
Yes,
do.
get her to do, yeah, exactly what you do.
Yes,
You
yes.
talking to the computer she get her to set it up. The computer will type out what you're saying. Then you can go back, or somebody can go back and edit for you.
Oh, okay, okay. See,
It's, yeah, it's not hard. My first book, I interviewed grandmas because that's what I wanted to do. Again, like I said, I'm in this grandma space, and I wanted to do that. And I interviewed about, I think it was 13. The second book, I interviewed 23. For my
mm,
next, I want to interview 25,
okay.
right? And then I want to interview grandmas who are raising their grandkids,
Right.
because that's an audience that nobody really talks about.
Right.
And we definitely need to shine some light on them and
Right.
support. And my nonprofits, I try to support them back to school time and at Christmas, because that's one of the time when they really need some extra support.
Right. Well,
And
that's
so,
just awesome because I just know that uh, all of these things are working together for us to
yes,
really better each other and help each other
yes,
to move on. Because,
yes.
I think about my mom. My mom died in 99, and my mother was so ahead of her time,
Mm,
just so ahead of her time. I do when I think about, just the things that she did. I was trying to figure out what my mom was a little bitty lady, but she sewed for the richest people in Virginia. She made
mm.
chair covers, drapers, and hung them.
Mm,
herself. I was like, she get up there.
right.
But she was a person, she was an entrepreneur. She taught music. She,
Mm,
I mean, she was an entrepreneur. And my dad was the kind of father, whatever my mother was doing, he was all right.
well, that's good. Because like you said, you need that family support. You
Yes,
definitely
you do.
support. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I want to encourage women and empower women to let them know
Yes.
they have so much potential, but sometimes it's just the support that you need, the accountability partner that you need.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the coaching comes in. And when I do coaching with women, uh,
Mm-hmm.
helping them just to realize that, where you don't have to stay where you are.
Right.
We're
That's
going to
exactly
move to the
right.
next place. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to stay there.
That's
And a
exactly
lot of times what happens to women is uh, they get in a slump and it's very challenging for them to get out. A lot of times they're depressed for different reasons.
right.
But even depression can be a springboard to doing something that's
Yes.
really challenging and positive to
Mm-hmm.
get out of the depression. Because as
Mm-hmm.
long as you sit there and feel sorry for you, you're just going to be sitting there.
Exactly. And while you're sitting there, you might as well be doing something.
Might as well get up.
Right?
Look, I start thinking about doing something because once you start thinking, you be like,
Exactly.
you'll get excited. But yeah,
Yeah.
I can do something.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my goal in life is just to
Yes.
inspire people, get up and
Yes.
do something. You know.
Yes, I really appreciate what you're doing because I think we're very similar in our thinking about, women and the possibilities of what they could be doing and helping them to get there. Oh my
Right.
God. Because, it doesn't make any sense that we just kind of wallow in whatever's going on, and keep that victim mentality. No. I always say the devil is a lie.
Mhm. Well, I think a lot of times the reason why women get into victim mentality is because the environment they're in.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
The
yes,
environment has a lot to do with how you're going to be able to respond to life. You have to pick and choose your friends very carefully,
yes, you do.
and your whole setup. You have to pick and choose what you can. Some things you can't pick, but you certainly can pick who's speaking into your life.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Oh yeah,
Yes. And sometimes you have to walk away from people if they're not the right people. And
right,
some we don't know that. Well, we won't acknowledge that. Sometimes even with friends, they're there for a season.
right.
And then you have to let them go. But you got to be willing to take those steps and walk away. And as they say, not look back. So you don't turn into a pillar of salt, right?
Right. And
Don't
and
look
that is what women I found out that women that I meet, I did a workshop in November on the power of the word of words.
back. Mm.
Okay, your
Mm-hmm.
words mean a lot. The ones that come out of your mouth and the ones that other people said.
Yes.
And it will say, whose words are you believing?
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, whose
Mm.
words are you believing? You need to have some words coming out of your mouth that's telling you, I can do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna get up and get started. I have to make a choice of what I'm saying out of my mouth. I'm very careful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, you do. You're right about that. I mean, our pastor preaches on that all the time. That words can kill. The tongue is it
It's
can be like a
powerful.
knife. you know.
Well, the Bible tells us the power of life and death is in your tongue,
Tongue.
in your
Yes,
tongue.
yes, yes, yes. And you can hurt yourself with your tongue. You can hurt others with your tongue.
Yes,
Exactly
you
right.
can.
Yes,
And
yes,
so learning to hear the right words and say the right words, it takes
yes.
some intention, but in order
Mm-hmm.
for you to be us to be successful, we got to start saying the right things about ourselves.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
talk to my students about that, about because as teachers, we hold a child's self-esteem in our hands based on
Yes.
what we say to them. That's so critical that the power that you have as a
Right.
teacher.
Hmm.
And then I had a friend who was talking very negatively about herself. She said something about, yeah, with my family. I said, don't say that. I said, first of all,
Right.
don't say that about yourself in front of me. I do
Right.
not like when people tear themselves down. No, 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 absolutely not. So if you don't have anything good to say, you know what your mama told you when you were a kid, if you having anything good to say, don't say anything at all.
Don't
That
say
goes
it.
for yourself too. If you don't
Right.
have anything good to say about yourself, don't say anything at all. Don't
Right.
do that to yourself. That turns me off. I don't like that, because you're then, if you put it out there in the universe, guess what? It might happen.
It comes back.
Yeah. So be
Your
careful.
words will judge you when you
Yes.
say out of our mouths. And so
Mm,
even what we say to other people, I feel like if we're saying negative things to other people, you have first to taste that word before you put it out there.
mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that I tell people I learned from the old people years ago, if you don't know how to say it and don't know how to keep your mouth closed, put some water in your mouth.
Put some water in your mouth.
I teach that. That's a principle I teach. I had to learn it. Put water in your mouth. You can say all them crazy things, you got water in
That's true.
yes, you can. So I learned that until I don't have to use water as often, but sometimes I may have to put some coffee in there, find something so you just don't say it. You know what I'm saying? You just
Right. And yeah, and then sometimes you just have to keep it in your head and not say it
mhm.
out loud, right?
You want to speak life to people, let them
Yes.
know that, you can do this. Come on.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yes.
going to be here to support you while you do it. Accountability is important for people.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
So, Dare to Dream, Dare to Dream. I love the name of your organization. I think it's volume, and sometimes we forget that dreaming is really important.
Yes, it is. It is. And it's something that people do, but they cast it off like, well, I can't do it. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and if they told somebody and that person said they can't do it, then they don't do it. Or if they
Mm-hmm.
try and it seems like it doesn't happen, then they give it up. But we can't give up on our dreams
Mm-hmm.
because our dreams, we project that dream out there and start doing little things to work towards the dream. And
Mm-hmm.
I found out that's something that I've had to do all of my life is go towards the dream. Step
Mm-hmm.
out there. I'm out there by myself, but the Lord is going to catch me. He's not going to let me fall. You know,
Yes.
I may learn a lesson. It might not be successful, but I'm going to try it anyway. He said,
Mm-hmm.
you got to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just encouraged now, women especially now, but anybody, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to fulfill your dream, you've got to get up and get started.
Mm-hmm.
Write it
Definitely.
down, write the vision down, make it plain, and do little steps towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that makes it exciting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
just
Yep.
continue
Yep.
to walk out there believing that this is what the Lord wants. He's going to bring it to pass.
Definitely. Amen. Amen. So
Yeah.
tell now, how can people get in touch with you if they want to support you in the work that you're doing?
Well, I have a cash app. It's called $ Dare to Dream
Okay.
HC. That's my cash app. They can also email me, and that's at 757. No, I want to give them my other email. Dare to Dream Health Coach at gmail.com.
Okay, perfect. And are is your organization on Facebook or Instagram?
No, it's not on there yet. My granddaughter's home, and while she's home, I'm gonna get her to do all those things that
Set it up
need to
for
be
you. Yeah,
done.
that's a good idea. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
I'm gonna get that done and work on our website, and those things we're gonna get done in the
Mhm.
near future. So,
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Because that is, that's the future. That's where we're going. That's the now. And that's where
uh-huh,
all things are going. Because my daughter said when I first decided to start Grandma's 2.0, and I said, well, I'm gonna have to get a Facebook. Mom, I don't want you on Facebook. Look, I'm doing Facebook for the business. I'm not doing Facebook for me.
right,
Right? It's about the organization. That's what Facebook is about. And
right,
that's how you use it. And I said, well, last time I checked, I was the mama and not you. So,
uh-huh. Yeah, I have a Facebook page. I haven't used it in a while, but I'm gonna revive all of those things up
mhm,
and get things moving and be able to get my webpage up too. So I
mhm.
mean, we are on a move, and I'm
Yes.
excited about the move. It's a challenge, but yeah, I'm ready for the challenge every
All
day.
right.
Yeah, we get up and go out here and do what we need to do in order to support people and help people. But now, other part you was talking about taking care of yourself. I want to mention that
Mhm.
because it's so important. that you
Yeah.
do take care of yourself. I mean, even when I had a lot of children at home, I would take time and I would tell my kids, I'm going in this room and I'll be in there. I'm going to be praying and it's going to be my quiet time. Don't open the door. And they
Hmm.
would tell you they would not open my door because I trained them that this is mama's time. Even when I get home from work, I say, I need 15 minutes and then I can do whatever. And
Right.
then there are times when I just go away. I just take a trip, just me and the Lord. I'll go get a hotel room
Hmm.
and stay the whole weekend at the hotel.
Hmm.
So it's important that you
Yes,
get
take care of
fuel.
yourself. Yes, it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
you can't just pull out and pull out.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. I know this weekend my brother wanted me to come down to his house. He's in South Carolina to a rodeo, right? They riding on horses and da 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 all this stuff. And this week was my exam week, and well, actually graduation week. So students completing their exams and all of that, right? And so it was a lot of work because some students wait to the last minute, and one student called me, well, Dr. McLean, I'm trying to graduate, and da 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 da. I said, well, unfortunately, your assignment was not up to par. Now, I will give you a chance to do it over. I don't have a problem with that. Well, but graduation, I know, so that means you need to work quickly, right? And I'll support you.
Mhm. Right.
So I had to spend time doing that. And then I said the next day after that and all that was done, I stayed in the bed the whole day. I got up, of course, bio breaks here and there, but I got back in the bed, went to sleep. And then my husband said, I kept calling you. Where were you? And because he was out of town, I said, I was in the bed. He said, you went in the bed the whole day? I said, yep. I said, I got up and went to the bathroom and then I got back in the bed because I needed that downtime for me. If you don't take care of yourself, nobody else will.
Nobody.
You
Nobody.
have to do it. You have to
That's,
do it. And now I feel rejuvenated because I took that time, to do
mhm.
what I needed to do for me. And so,
Right.
yeah, and even though sometimes people say, well, you're being selfish. No, self-care is not being selfish.
No,
Self-care
it's not.
is taking care of your body and your mind and your
Right.
soul.
Right.
Right? You got to make
And
sure you.
that's what they tell you on the airplane. Put the mask on you first.
Yes, 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 yes. And
Mhm.
then yeah, the kids and everybody else. And so
Right.
that's it. And as women, we tend to do just the opposite. But now that I've gotten a little bit in my numbers and higher numbers, I tend to make sure I take care of myself. Because I feel
Mhm.
like I've paid my dues. I've taken care of my children when they were younger, all that. And so now I think it's my time,
Well,
to do
I
some things.
do. I think you deserve it.
Mhm, mhm.
Really,
I
go
really,
ahead and take it. Go ahead and take it because I've seen people that didn't take it and ended up breaking. And that
yes.
you don't have to break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't. You don't.
Go ahead
And
and take it.
sometimes I even laugh at my children when my daughter has a 2-year-old, right? So she was like, she said, "Well, mommy, where were you?" Yes, I said, "Girl, I took me a day to just lay in the bed and not do anything." I said, "Because I was tired." She said, "Man, I wish I could do that." I said, "I know, honey," and I kind of laughed, right? Because I
Mhm.
remember when she was a 2-year-old, I
Oh
couldn't.
yeah.
Right?
You can't do it. You can't do
I said,
it.
"You'll get your day, baby. Don't worry. But
Yeah.
right now it's mama's turn, okay?" So,
And it's okay. It is
and
okay for
it's
mama
okay.
to take her day. I
Exactly.
tell people, even Jesus called his disciples away to rest.
Yes.
He said,
Yes.
go
This is
rest.
my Sabbath. That's exactly right.
So we are okay if we rest.
Yes, yes, yes. So, Miss Breedlove, it was so nice to have you on the podcast today, and I just love what you're doing. It was such a blessing for me to meet you, and I want to continue to talk with you. And please think
Yeah.
about me when you're doing your event in October. Let me know in advance so I can
Yes.
make sure that I'm around and will support in any way that I can. And I want you to be a part of our next book because I really love what you're doing. And so what I'll do is I'll interview you just like I'm doing now. I have different questions, right? Some
Okay.
similar, but I have different questions that relate to what the book is going to be about. And then we'll get you to be a part of that because I really want people to hear your story.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I have really enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure
Good.
to meet
I'm so
with you
happy.
and just to get a glimpse of because so many people are at were at the love feast. I don't know. I wouldn't know who all was there. It was just so
Right.
many people there that day. But
Right.
I'm glad you reached out and my nephew was able to give me the number because it could have
Yes.
gotten lost.
Yes, yes, yes. And he was such a gentleman, walking us to our cars and everything. It was so nice. And again, that's a reflection on you. That's a reflection on you and what how you've inspired him to be the man that he is. So I really thank
Yeah,
you for that, because so many times these days people won't really help, they won't, take the time to be gentlemen sometimes. They don't. That's
right.
honest. Everybody don't. Now everybody's not like that, but some are. And
Yes,
so it's always nice to see the men that are real men. And so
right.
thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to give you a call too.
Okay, please do. Please
I
do.
will. All
Okay, all
right.
right.
Thank you.
And
Have a
I'll
great
definitely meet
day.
you face to face at some point, okay?
Well, we will, because you're not that, if you're in Hampton and you produce, we can get together.
Yes, 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 definitely. All right.
Okay. All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Introducing a remarkable book, a tapestry of stories from atypical grandmas whose lives are a treasure trove of wisdom and inspiration. Stories of inspiration, life lessons, and wisdom from grandmas by Dr. Marsha McLean. This extraordinary book is now available on www.grandmas2.0.com and on Amazon.